there are photos that can freeze time. And there are those that show its relentless passing. But only one photographer achieved what no one had before. He captured time itself in the faces of 4 sisters, over 40 years. And today this story moves anyone to tears who sees their final photo. It all began in the distant year of 1975. A talented photographer, Nicholas Nixon, visited the parents of his wife, Bibi, in Massachusetts. The day was unusually warm. In the garden, 4 young sisters, Heather, Mimi, Bibi, and Lori, chatted animatedly, their laughter filling the air. At some point, Nicholas noticed how beautifully the sunlight played on their faces, how natural their poses were, and how sincere their smiles seemed. "May I photograph you?" he asked, unaware that these simple words would launch one of the most powerful and emotional projects in the history of photography. A project that would not only change their lives but also our understanding of time's beauty. The sisters exchanged uncertain glances. Bibi was already used to her husband's camera, but the others felt uneasy. Their body language revealed hesitation, crossed arms, slightly furrowed brows, and expressions of mild distrust. In 1975, there were no digital cameras, so they couldn't see the result immediately. What if the photo turns out badly? This thought was clearly written on their faces. Nicholas used an 8x10 large format camera, a bulky device requiring skill and patience. The large format allowed him to capture even the tiniest details. Every line on their faces, every glimmer in their eyes. Later, this technical aspect would become one of the project's most crucial features, letting viewers study the sisters' faces closely and notice the subtlest changes year after year. When the first photo was developed, Nicholas was stunned. This simple black and white image held more than just a portrait of 4 sisters. It preserved youth itself, pure, sincere, full of hopes and expectations. 4 young women on the threshold of life, unaware of the paths ahead. A year later, at one sister's graduation, Nicholas suggested another photo. "Stand just like before," he asked, guiding each to her spot. Comparing the 2 images, he noticed barely perceptible differences. Slightly altered poses, subtly changed expressions, tiny shifts in their eyes. That was the moment an idea took shape in his mind. "What if we take a photo like this every year?" Nicholas proposed. The sisters agreed, thinking it would last a year or 2, maybe 5 at most. None could have guessed this experiment would span 4 decades and become one of photography's most significant documentary projects. The rules were simple. 1 photo per year, always in the same order: Heather, Mimi, Bibi, Lori. Always black and white, always with an 8x10 camera, always in natural light. No makeup, no special preparations, just themselves exactly as they were. Each shoot became a sacred ritual. Sometimes they waited hours for perfect light. But those hours were never wasted. They became precious moments of connection, where the sisters talked, shared news, and laughed over old memories. The selection of the final photo grew more meaningful. In the early years, the sisters quickly glanced at a few shots and picked the best one. But over time, it became a serious discussion. They scrutinized each image for hours, analyzing the tiniest details, how the light fell, the folds of their clothing, the emotions in their eyes. Over those 40 years, life brought many changes. There were weddings and divorces, births and losses, illnesses and recoveries. Yet what's truly remarkable is that never, not once, did they miss their annual photo. Even when one of them was gravely ill, she found the strength to stand beside her sisters before the camera. One of the most captivating aspects of the project was watching their appearances evolve. From the trendy outfits of the 1970s, they gradually shifted to more classic, understated styles. Their hairstyles transformed over time, from youthful experiments with length and styling to the emergence of silver strands, which none of them tried to hide. Those streaks of gray became like a crown, a symbol of the years they'd lived and the wisdom they'd earned. But the most profound changes were in their expressions and body language. In the early photos, each sister seemed to exist in her own space. Even standing together, they appeared like separate islands, lost in their own worlds, perhaps reflecting youthful independence, the desire to build their own lives. Yet with each passing year, something subtle shifted. Their bodies leaned toward one another, their hands rested naturally on each other's shoulders, their gazes grew softer, more trusting. Time didn't pull them apart, it drew them closer. This transformation was especially visible in Mimi, the second from the left. In the early photos, she seemed armored in caution, her gaze intense, lips pressed tight, posture tense. Even when she draped an arm over a sister's shoulder, there was restraint, as if shielding part of herself from the camera, the world, even those closest to her. But time works wonders. With each new photo, Mimi's face softened. Wrinkles formed not just from age but from smiles that grew more frequent. By the project's final year, she was nearly unrecognizable, her eyes radiating such warmth and wisdom that it was impossible not to be moved to tears. Over the decades, the project gained global recognition. The photos were exhibited in the world's most prestigious galleries, from MoMA in New York to the Louvre in Paris. Yet for the sisters themselves, it was never about art for art's sake. It was their personal story shared with the world, something they'd never intended. The project's uniqueness also lies in how it portrays women aging. In a world obsessed with eternal youth, where women over 40 often become invisible or are shamed for growing older, the Brown sisters showed another way. They proved that age isn't something to hide but to embrace, even take pride in. Over the years, photography evolved dramatically. Digital cameras, Photoshop, and filters emerged, tools that could erase any sign of aging. Yet Nicholas remained loyal to his old 8x10 camera and black and white film. For him, it was never about technology, but about capturing truth in the moment, about honesty with themselves and their viewers. Interestingly, throughout the project, the sisters never publicly shared details of their private lives. We don't know their love stories, career triumphs or failures, their personal tragedies or joys. Yet all of it is visible in their eyes, in the way their postures shifted, how they clung to one another. This became especially clear during life's hardest moments. Though the sisters never revealed specifics, an attentive viewer can spot the years when one was struggling. In those photos, the others seemed to encircle her with support, visible in their stance, their clasped hands, their locked gazes. In the project's 40th year, they decided to end it. That final photo. Oh, that last image. They are no longer young. Their faces are lined, their hair silvered. Yet it holds something so profoundly moving that it brings tears to every viewer's eyes. In this last frame, the sisters press together with a tenderness only decades of shared life can create. Their eyes glow with wisdom and peace. And Mimi's smile, the same Mimi who once glared sternly at the camera, now beams with a warmth that shatters hearts. Why does this final image move us to tears? Not because it marks an ending, but because it proves true beauty lies in embracing life as it is. In the laugh lines around their eyes. In the silver hair that crowns their years. In hands that learn to hold loved ones tighter. Every wrinkle on their faces is a map of a life well lived. The crow's feet etched by laughter, the mouth lines from smiling, the forehead creases from worrying over those they loved. They never hid this topography of time, they wore it proudly. The Brown sisters' story teaches us the most vital lesson. Beauty isn't eternal youth. It's the courage to greet every age with grace and love, to see in each wrinkle not loss but gain. To show the world a face touched by time's gentle hand. This project became more than family chronicle or art. It's a universal message about what it means to be human. About the bonds of family. About the quiet radiance of life's natural unfolding. When we weep before that last photo, our tears aren't of sadness. They're tears of recognition. We see our own story in theirs. Tears of gratitude for the reminder that aging isn't life's sunset, but its most luminous chapter. In a world obsessed with tricking time, the Brown sisters showed the only way to conquer it, by accepting it with dignity and grace. Their story inspires millions, proving that the deepest beauty lives in honesty, self-acceptance, and love that grows stronger with every passing year.